morning, everyone. Welcome to 2013 Ford NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship weekend here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We had an outstanding event here yesterday. I appreciate everyone's attendance and coverage and interest of our sport. And we thought we'd kick things off here on a Friday and let you visit with our NASCAR president, Mike Helton. Mike, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Gary. It's hard to believe that we're already back in Homestead and a bit of a milestone. I don't know what's happened the last 10 years that moved us along so fast, but celebrating the 10th chase. And I would tell you that from NASCAR's perspective, the chase has delivered on what we had hoped it would do to create extraordinary moments in a conclusion of our season and develop what we feel like is the most competitive and challenging championship, certainly in motorsports, but you think we could sustain an argument that it's one of the most challenging championships in all the sports. But it still feels funny that we're already back in Homestead again. These years go by so quickly, but it's exciting to be here and settle up on our national championships. And over the course of this evening, tomorrow, and Sunday, one thing we do know is that all of our 3 National Series championships will not be repeats from 2012, but will be unique champions for 2013. And I think that kind of speaks to the competition level of all 3 of our National Series, and we're very proud of that. On the Cup side, obviously the most visible element in 2013 was the Gen 6 race car. And we're very pleased with its rollout early in 13, but we're also pleased with the results on the racetrack as it's evolved throughout the season, and of course Homestead Sunday being the final event of its inaugural year. The in-race passing elevated. We had 16 different winners. Many were winners that you would expect to win, like the 48, the 20, and the 29. But I think we also had some moments that we were all pretty proud of, with the 38 in Talladega or the 55 winning in New Hampshire. So we're very pleased with the rollout of the Gen 6 on the Cup side. The one other thing we learned again and we are reminded of in 2013 is that it's a dangerous sport. Our drivers are human, and other than Tony Stewart, I think we're all very anxious, or the most anxious, to have Tony back in the Cup garage real soon, and certainly hope his rehabilitation and his healing goes as well as it has been going. On the nationwide side, we celebrated our 1,000th race in that series this year. We had some interesting races. Certainly the battle between Sam Hornish and Austin Dillon is example of how competitive that series still is and has become. Kyle Larson, on the verge of being the Rookie of the Year, speaks to our diversity program and the interest that NASCAR has tried to build throughout its programs to attract young and future talent, and Kyle's a very big face of that. We also talked earlier this year about Nationwide's future involvement with the series. As we talked about, they will stay in the sport, probably increase their involvement in the sport, which we're very glad for and proud of. They've been great partners in this series. 14 will be their last year as the entitlement sponsor, and as things progress and we're able to get to the point where we talk about who that next entitlement program is, we'll be excited to do that. In the meantime, we're very encouraged and excited about the interest level that series has, a lot of it due to the growth of it, the strength and the program itself, and a lot of which ESPN and Nationwide has helped us build over the last several years. And so the activity around the the next entitlement name on that series is very promising, and we're very excited about it and look forward to being able to talk about that sometime in 14. In the truck garage, I think one of the highlights of 13 will be the Eldora race, with Austin Dillon winning it. But it was a bit of it was not a bit, it was an opportunity for NASCAR to be a bit nostalgic and at the same time have a lot of fun and remind many of us how much fun this sport is and can be. We look forward to going back to Eldora. It was certainly a great moment, I think, for NASCAR in general, but certainly for the Camping World Truck Series. And the victory lane in the Truck Series, I think, is an indication of the future driving category, or the driver's category for our sport, which is very promising. When you have drivers like Kyle Larson and certainly Darrell Wallace Jr.'s win in Martinsville, Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, you see that young crop of very talented, very personable, very exciting style come into the sport. That's promising for the future of all of our programs. So the Truck Series has certainly delivered once again for NASCAR in 2013. It appears that Matt Crafton's poised to be our 2013 champion, and we're proud of that because Matt's been a big asset to NASCAR, and particularly in the Camping World Truck Series, but very excited about him being our champion for 2013, as well as Duke and Rhonda Thor, Thor Sports' first win, or first championship, I should say, and that's the headlines we like to see and like to bank on, particularly as we look down the road. So our three national series are something that we're very proud of. And go back for just a bit, if I can, on the Gen 6 car. What that taught us, the benefits of it, the outcome of it, the high praise and excitement and acceptance of the visibility of our race cars. That showed us what we could do collectively, NASCAR with the OEMs, with the race teams, and other folks in the sport were able to grow a very popular product and build some strong relationships. And to that point, I would tell you that in 12, and particularly continuing into 13, NASCAR continues to build relationships with the teams, certainly the drivers, the tracks, but its partners, whether it's Sprint or Nationwide or Camping World or Goodyear, Sunoco, the Chevrolet, Ford, and Toyota, to make the sport better. That's what NASCAR, I think, has a reputation and is known for throughout its history, is to continue to work on its product. And next to making it safe, the next biggest topic we've got is being sure that it's competitive. And we'll continue to do that. And along the way, we've learned more how to do that. And I think the Gen 6 is a big symbol of the cooperation of everybody in the industry and the result of that cooperation. We talked earlier this year about the investments and the evolution that's going on our competition and our R&D side of our business. That's up and running. It's not completely through a cycle yet, but it's well on its way. That includes more dialogue with race teams and different layers of a race team, more internal layers to work on everything from parts approval to the rule book to the enforcement and the regulations, and how we use technology and innovation to make the sport better, to do our job better, to make the sport more interactive and more enjoyable and more attractive, particularly to a generation that expects that. And that's requiring a good deal of effort, a good deal of investment, and we're willing to do that. And the industry is helping us do that, and we feel like we've got a lot of good things to come in the future because of that. You're well aware of the test on the Cup side that we did after the Charlotte race in October. our group will go back with several teams December the 9th and 10th and do some more work on intermediate car packages in an effort to make the intermediate racing more exciting. We're proud of the product we've got right now, but we also know that if you sit still, you're going to get run over. And so we're not willing to wait, and we're actually working hard and investing more to be able to act quicker and better and stronger. And the industry is helping us do that, and it's coming together collectively well, and we'll see results of that, I think, pretty quick. Another big headline in 13 was the announcement of our extended relationship with Fox, as well as with NBC on the second half of the season. That takes our 3 national series covered through 2024, which is a big asset for NASCAR, for the teams and the tracks to build its business model and its competition around. So that's a very important topic for us. The tracks continue to invest in their facilities. They'll continue to do that. I think the biggest and the strongest and most visible example of that, when you get to Daytona for Speed Weeks in 14, you'll see a lot of new stuff around the back of the grandstand and what we expect, or a bit of a teaser, if you will, to what we expect to see Daytona look like and when it's all done in 2016. But that, I think, is very symbolic of the investment that the entire industry is making to make our sport strong and give it the opportunity to grow. So with that, Kerry, you want to open it up to questions?
We sure will. We'll go to about 10 o'clock, so we'll get as many questions as we can. We'll start here with Tom, and we'll go with Lee. We got a couple of mic holders. If we could get the mics over here, we'll go to Tom and then go to Lee.
Mike, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations on an excellent season. You touched on the young drivers coming up. You've been around the sport quite a while. Have you ever seen such a deep and talented crop of young drivers as we have right now?
I can't remember seeing one, and I haven't lost any of my memory, but I can't, I don't think I have. But I can't remember seeing, and I think a lot of that is the fact that NASCAR has put a good deal of effort into working very diligently on a feeder program over the last 15 or 20 years, and I think we're beginning to see results of that. If you've followed us along the last 2 or 3 years, we've done different things with age restrictions and different things to help promote that, because we've always had issue with the fact that you can go by an elementary or a high school and you're not going to see a racetrack, but you'll see a basketball court or a baseball field or a football field. And so the industry itself, not just NASCAR, but the industry itself had to work on that, and it's done that. And it's given more chances and more opportunities to more younger drivers and wannabe drivers. And so our feeder system, we think, was important, and I think we're beginning to see results of that. But it's really encouraging to see them progress so quickly and be so talented and so good so quickly. And when the names that I mentioned, and you see Jeb Burton, Hunter Nemechek, that makes you feel good. Larry McReynolds' son, that makes you feel good to see familiar names in another generation that helped build your sport continue to grow the sport. And so I suspect the more senior drivers are looking over their shoulder and say, man, I know this bunch is going to want my seat pretty soon. So that makes them a little bit better driver too, I think.
We'll go to Lee, and then we'll go to George.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. We used to joke about NASCAR being a benevolent dictatorship, and it seems of late there's been more open dialogue between the sanctioning body and the competitors. What started that change in the philosophy of the sport? Because I guess 2 weeks ago there was a meeting at the Tech Center, and everybody who came out of it said it was the best meeting that they had ever been in NASCAR, that what was exchanged between the competition as well as the competition department was just very valuable and beneficial to everybody. What changed the philosophy of NASCAR?
Well, that's the meeting that you're speaking of is a result of the changes that we made this year. The changes we made this year are a result of strategic thinking. That's not new to NASCAR, but I think the last cycle that we're seeing that makes it more open is a result of the things that we've learned that we can do, like the Gen 6 car, if we bring in more of the industry to help us figure it out. I'd go back and you can look at the timeline of NASCAR, and I'm a product of it, quite frankly, when Bill and Jim France decided 12 or 13 years ago, 14 years ago now, that the leadership of NASCAR needed to be spread out more. I had the opportunity to be senior VP, chief operating officer, then the president in that cycle. And Brian Francis and Jim and Lisa and the board of NASCAR tries to look around the corner and say, okay, what's the best form of leadership in NASCAR to serve the industry? And what does that include? And so you've seen over the last few years a broadening of our leadership and a more engagement of Robin Pemberton and Steve O'Donnell and Brett Jukes and Steve Phelps and Jill Gregory, where the industry or the business of NASCAR has more people involved in it to help the industry be better. And the meeting in Concord that you spoke of, I think, is indicative of meetings that other groups in our business, marketing, licensing, operations, have grown to do. And we're now catching up with it on the competition side so that we can get results quicker and better for the whole industry. And the buy-in is engaged, their equity in the decisions that way, and I think it works better for NASCAR going forward.
We'll go to George and then Jeff, and please try to limit yourself to one question and a reminder on that as well. Go ahead, George.
Okay. Yeah, Mike, George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. You had mentioned earlier about developing the young drivers and looking at the nationwide champion at this point, whether it's Austin or Sam. They have one victory between them, obviously with the dynamics of the Cup guys getting in the mix. Have you, moving forward, are you considering any changes in how that dynamic works out with allowing the Cup drivers to compete, semi-regularly in the circuit?
Yeah, we obviously, or not obviously, I guess I should say that I would tell you that we look at everything a lot, and I think as we open up our dialogue with the rest of the industry, you'll learn more about the things that we put on the table and think about. But to your point, we believe that it's in NASCAR's best interest currently to have an open model for its 3 national series and not restrict who participates in them. But what we have done recently, if you'll remember in the last couple of years, is we created a program where a driver has to declare what series it collects points in. So that's a step in allowing the truck or the nationwide drivers to be dominant or predominant when it comes to the championship. But it still keeps our philosophy of having the open series to whoever wants to participate in them can. But as we go forward, we always look at what's next as far as possibilities are concerned. But we have our general philosophy is to make our products be competitive and open, and it's we want to have the best competition. If it's for 400 miles or 300 miles, and the guy ends up in victory lane's the guy that deserves to be there, or if it's for 33 races in the nationwide. If the guy that wins the championship deserves to be the champion, whether he has a win or not, the emphasis was on him earning the championship as opposed to earning a win. But we also have many programs, and we'll continue to develop programs to encourage winning, because that's the nature of NASCAR racing.